I'm Brandon Roberts here with Michael Cornett, Judge Rutherford. Michael Cornett is the Director of Agency Expansion and Public Relations for East Kentucky Concentrated Employment Program. And Judge, let's start with you. I know you read an article in the Lexington Herald-Leader where they were having these benefits fairs. I believe
January the 26th or 20, excuse me, July the 26th or 27th. I get the morning paper and I got out and got it, opened it up, and it said job fair. Didn't say benefit fair. The headlines of the Lexington paper, job fair. And I knew how hard that our industry had been hit, and realizing that we produced 32% of the coal produced in the Commonwealth, that we had more miners cut off than in any other county. And yet I noticed they had what the paper called job fairs in several different areas, but none in Pike County. And knowing that the census numbers, that we send 3,883 people outside Pike County to work in the counties in Virginia, West Virginia, and the other counties of eastern Kentucky. And knowing that, and I got concerned. As usual, we was left out. So on the 27th, I wrote a letter to Mr. Whitehead stating that the rash of layoffs, and after I wrote him a letter, if you remember, Brandon, I said, please give me a call. And Mr. Whitehead called me, and East Kentucky SEP has meant a lot over the years. Matter of fact, for 26 or 27 years, their executive director was Virgil Alderman, who used to be deputy judge of Pike County after he left over there for a period of time. And EXCEPT was a agency that through our local offices here provided and helped people who needed help in regard to not only employment, but every aspect of their life, and through the area district. And we provide them an office, as you know, in the courthouse annex on Ferguson's Creek. And through them, we had worked very close, and they had employees stationed in this county for at least 30 years. And with that relationship, and so when Mr. Whitehead called me, I explained to him that my chief of staff's husband was the Kentucky president of ICG, which had just sold to Arch Coal over in Knott County. And his reason for having one of these fairs or benefits fairs was the fact that so many had lost their jobs in Knott and others. And I informed him that 50% of those employees at that mine in Knott County was Pike County resident. And we had that information straight from the fellow who was president of that operation over in Knott County. Mr. Whitehead was not aware of that, and when he was, he said, well, we're going to move to set a benefit fair up, and he explained to me what they was attempting to do. So based on that, what we're doing here today. But we're here because we care about these people and their families of what these people are going through. We know that we've lost, according to their figures, some, Brandon, I think it was around 2,000 jobs in eastern Kentucky. Well, the majority of those jobs was Pike Countyans. Because we produce 32% of the coal. So, and about 26, 27, or 30 million, according to how the coal's up and down. The production is thereabout. If we were a state, we'd be 10th in coal production in America. So the impact is greater on us. And later on in this program, I want to go into details of what we're doing in the county government through our Energy and Community Development Office to diversify our economy, and what we're doing in regard to looking at tourism as economic development. And I want to go into the fact that why we're where we're at, and I'll briefly mention the mild winter we had last year. Then we're in the middle of the worst recession we've had in the history of America and the world. We're in the middle of that, coming back very slowly out of recession. But then add on top of that the Washington's EPA, who is attempting to put Central Appalachia out of the production of coal from mountaintop development, which that property we used to develop. It's the only place we got to go. We're very mountainous, and we develop top. They call it mountaintop mining. We call it mountaintop development. So that's where we are today. But we care so much for these families, and we are elated that this agency has set a meeting up, so elated that we was able, Brandon, to bring together the Appalachian News Express, East Kentucky Broadcasting, Southeast Kentucky Chamber of Commerce, Pike TV, and Pike County Government as the local sponsors for East Kentucky SEP to come in for this benefit fair. And they have been very successful. They had the average of 200, and then they was down some when they went to Floyd County to around 76. But and they, as Mr. Cornett will tell you, that they're doing their normal thing to get their people to get the word out. But we're going beyond that because we care about these families, and they need to know that they are helped. There are a role from government to play. I know that we watch television a lot and they'd say, get government out of your life. But folks, that's not how it works. Everybody has to have assistance. Nobody can do anything by themselves. And they need to have information of what's available to them. Mr. Whitehead impressed on me how important that these benefit fairs are to this agency. The Congressman, Hal Rogers, is working with them with the U.S. Department of Labor to get training programs. And we know that we are blessed to have the Pikeville Medical Center, 2,600 employees today, I understand, and hiring. And we know that the University of Pikeville, which has doubled their enrollment, has been hiring personnel. So we do have, and this training money is available. And I hope later in this program that we have time to talk about, and we can't talk about everything, Brandon, because we have some confidentiality agreements signed, but there are things in the works that's going to assist in bringing the economy back and bringing jobs back into Pike County. And we don't want to take anything away from East Kentucky SEP. And Mr. Cornett, I want you to take it from here, and then I will come back. And I know Carol Napier, who cares so much about the people out in this county, and who is dedicated. She is dedicated to assisting the people she can assist. She also oversees our senior citizens program, which is the largest one in the Commonwealth. And when I say that, I'm talking about we are a large county, we're the largest county in land area, so they're spread out in the county. And our home deliveries to meals at people's homes and so forth. But she's the one that really molds this together and brings people into these programs and to let them know what we have available at all times. And that's what Mr. Cornett. Now, this fellow sitting here with me is from Pikeville. His grandfather was really a little bit kin to me, but a great gentleman. I can remember him, and he was a minister. University of Pikeville, which was Pikeville College then. He was the head of the dietary or the cafeteria at Pikeville College for many years. Left there, went over to the old Methodist Hospital for a period of time. Continued his ministry, and then his dad, the fireman here in Pikeville, worked with my brother every night as a fireman at the fire department together, and living in Moorhead area, Round County area now.
Still is.
But this fellow's no stranger to us, Brandon. The same as you're not being from Belfry when you came back here.
Right.
Brandon couldn't wait to get back home. He graduates from Eastern gets him degree in journalism, goes up, editor for a paper in Ohio, the very young fella. Wants to come back to Kentucky and get back to Pike County, but he only made it to Georgetown because that's close enough for UK football to keep up with Belfry when they went to the state final.
Oh, yeah.
So then we ended up bringing him back to where he wanted to come back to his home county and to be here close to Belfry, really. And but we're glad to have you to come back today, and you can give a little bit of your background and take it over.
Well, just before he asks the first question, I just want to say it's an honor to be here with you on the same set with a man I consider a visionary for our region for many, many decades. And it's, again, just an honor and pleasure to be here and to accept this invitation to be here with you today and to share the set and to be back in my hometown. So,
well, being from Pikeville, then this the attack on the coal industry and the layoffs has to hit home for you a lot.
Yeah, it does. Obviously, like we've discussed, I live in Somerset now, but, my family are here. People have the misconception a lot of times that the coal layoffs only affect the people who work in the mines. That's totally incorrect. The coal layoffs, when they do occur, affect people who own the dollar store, the restaurants, the shopping centers. When that money goes down, when the miners are not employed and aren't able to spend that money, it impacts everything that all of us do. It's not just something that's only related to that man with that job or that woman with that job in the coal industry. So it impacts every single person, and people who think that it doesn't are sadly mistaken. So, it's of the utmost importance for our agency, Eastern Kentucky SEP, to come in here and have the event, like the judge was describing, having this benefits fair, because, as he said, around 2,000 people have lost their jobs in our 23 county service region since January 1. That's not all coal. The majority is 1,500, somewhere in that neighborhood. So that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people who are out of a job. In many cases, from what we've heard, permanent layoffs. This isn't just a seasonal thing, as so often happens in the coal industry. So with that amount of people coming into the system, the state's unemployment rate is somewhere around 8% right now. In our 23 county region, it's around 12. Okay, and that's now. Come back and look at that in about 2 or 3 months, that's going to go up. 8 they consider bad, the employment experts. So what does that say about 12?
Yeah, I think I read that Pike County's is 9.7, and it'll go up, or maybe already has, when the WARN benefits run out for the miners and they officially become unemployed.
Right, and I think that's the thing that people are forgetting, is that due to severance packages, a lot of these miners, many of them anyways, some of them still could be riding that out, so they've not even entered the unemployment logs yet. So in the fall, we'll get a true picture of what the June layoffs that everybody read about, the well-documented ones, we'll really see where that lands. And I think we know the situation, we understand the importance of it, but I think the general public are really going to take notice when that hits.
Well, what do you see people that come to the fairs that you've already had? Every vendor is, of course, beneficial, or they wouldn't be there. But what are the things that they're hitting on the most when they get there? Okay,
and it's worth noting that this one that's coming up Monday, the 10th at 10 o'clock at the Expo Center here in Pikeville is going to have the most vendors, the most partners in one place under one roof out of all of them that we've done so far. More than 40 will be here, and there is the job fair component. We're going to have, for example, the folks that own the McDonald's chains will be in there taking applications. Arch Coal will be there taking applications. Big Sandy Penitentiary from Inez will be in there taking applications. Sterling Ventures, Shred All Documents. I could go on. So the job fair aspect is there, but the benefits fair is really what we're trying to get out there in front of people, because again, some of these miners have not got to the point where they've gone and had to file for unemployment insurance yet. That time could be now, so why not come to this fair, take care of that while you're here, because we will have people from Kentucky Career Center and Office of Employment Training there to guide them through that one-on-one, face-to-face, so they don't have to run here in town, run there in town. But besides that, we're going to have people from Kentucky Housing Corporation who are going to be there talking to these guys about, and women, about, okay, you've lost your job in the mining industry or whatever sector. You've got a mortgage. What are you going to do? okay? A lot of times people lose a job like that and you're going to default on your mortgage. You might lose your home for yourself and your family. Kentucky Housing Corporation has grants available and opportunities that doesn't have to happen. So those people will be there and available to talk to all the people who need that information. Same thing with people from Kentucky Insurance who will be there to help people. You know, you and I lose a job or someone does, what do? You got to go to COBRA. And the reason they call it COBRA is because it bites you and it strikes pretty hard. It's very expensive to carry that insurance forward. There's programs that can help with that. So we're getting these people together all in one place, under one roof, so as many hundreds of miners here, and not just in Pike County, but all surrounding counties, want to come and get access to that help, they'll be there for them. And we'll be there till 5 o'clock on Monday.
Well, I think it's worth noting, Judge mentioned the local sponsors earlier, the county government, the News Express, East Kentucky Broadcasting, the Chamber, and Pike TV. I was in the room when Judge called these people and asked them, would you be without hesitation? It was, I mean, it was absolutely.
That's
and
great.
they've all done, they've done their whatever they can do to help us.
Absolutely.
The local aspect of it there, like, being affected, the newspaper's probably affected, the radio station, all these people, the sponsors are also affected by this. Was the local involvement at the other places, was it there, or was it to this extent, or like you say this is the largest one?
Yeah, I don't think anywhere near to this extent. I think the involvement of the judge in this, the involvement of the judge's office, all the staff, yourself and others, and the local sponsors has helped turn this one into what I think might be the biggest one of the bunch. Now, we've had some very successful ones. This is the latest in our series. We also started this in Whitesburg, had one in Hazard, Harlan, and in Prestonsburg. And going back to that original number, the judge said somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,000 layoffs since January 1. We've seen all total so far somewhere a little over 600 of those. So that's a significant percentage of the total overall. But we would want to see more, obviously. We'd like to see, knowing that that's the overall number, we would want to see 200 or 300 every time if we could. But for whatever reason, people don't always take advantage of those situations. And that's something I really want to communicate, and I know the judge has too, is no one should feel ashamed or worried about coming out to this sort of an event. If they need it, come out and take advantage of that. That's, everyone's on the same page, on the same level. Whether you lost a job in a manufacturing plant that closed or a coal mine due to a layoff, that help is there for them. And again, why not take advantage of it when all the key partners that you're going to need, and some you probably don't even know about, are all there under one roof at one time for you. And we hope to see hundreds of people up at the Expo Center on Monday.
We do too. That's why we've been working so diligently on getting the word out on this and doing what we can. Of course, like Judge said, Carol's been. We've all been. This has basically been our focus for the past. Well, since we had since we found out we were having one, actually.
Yeah, and we appreciate that, and we couldn't have done it without that support. We're very grateful.
Well, the wolf has been to everybody's door. Don't make no difference who you talk to. The wolf's been there before, and that, as Mr. Cornett said, people need to come out. This is one-stop shop. USDA, Rural Development, well, they will be there. They're in this county, Brandon, in the courtroom in the courthouse, once and twice a month, I think, and take applications. They'll be there. Pike County Housing will be there along with Kentucky Housing, and so it's what an opportunity of a one-stop shop for somebody to come in. And it's not easy. And I've been unemployed, and everybody else, it's probably 99% listen to it sometime in their life, and it's not easy. It's not hard on what you'd call your psychic, but there'll be people there that you can talk to in regard to that situation too, and to help people know that they do have people who care. They have people in these government positions who care, and they have people in all these agencies who care, and they're there just to help people and to let them know what they have available for them as tools in their life that they can get their lives back on schedule. Now, we've gone through these lull, if you want to call it that, what the Lexington paper said this morning, the lull in the coal industry. We've been through this up and down over the years of the production of coal, which is Kentucky's signature industry, which is going to be around for another 50, 75, 100, 200 years, because coal is the one that keeps the lights on. These lights in the studio and in everybody's homes and in our businesses and our factories, they generate electricity. They produce more BTUs than any other fossil fuel, and that's what we have today that's solving our problem. You know, that they talk about this alternative fuel, and gosh, yes, we want it. You have to have it. It's like an education. You have to have every college, every university, every college, every community college, all of them, everything in regard to education to educate our people in this country. Same thing when it comes to this. Everybody has to be involved. But what an opportunity that we got to bring this and to have these folks from East Kentucky SEP come in for this benefit fair. Brandon, you might explain the layout over to the Expo Center. Tell them where it will be, so it will be easy access as they come in, and tell them where the entrance is and so forth.
Well, Judge, it's going to look very reminiscent of an assembly line type lineup. The tables will be lined up on the main floor, and it's basically...
Now, when you're talking about main floor, I understand, and Al, I think that I understand it's going to be, as you walk in, it's going to be all the way around to the other side. The tables will be
right
around, not down on the
floor. Basketball court.
That's right. The tables will be lined up right as you come in, and it will be a great opportunity to do something for these families and let them know what's available for them in the future. Now, we know there are going to be continued hardships, as they talked about, in regard to their mortgages, and Mr. Cornett hit on it. It's not only losing that salary, but it is where they spend the money of buying. You know, the average of buying a new pickup truck is 3 years from the coal industry, which means, and the percentage is way up there, up in the 80s, that they buy local. So even our people in that business of the automobile and truck business in the coal areas is going to be hit. But
it's funny you say that, Judge, because I was thinking this morning about the far-reaching effects of coal. When the car business was struggling, they weren't buying the metallurgical coal to heat the steel because they weren't producing cars, and that hit us a little bit. I mean,
right.
People would not believe the things that
we're going to get through this, and when Carl comes on in a few minutes, we will discuss a little bit of what plans we have. But the purpose right now is to make sure that people understand about this event and that they get ready to come out.
Mm-hmm. A couple of the key Eastern Kentucky SEP programs that are going to be there at the job fair on Monday, on the 10th at 10 a.m. at the Expo Center, is again two main initiatives. Job Clubs of East Kentucky, that's something that we have going on in 15 different locations throughout the 23-county region we serve, Pikeville and Pike County included. That is really, for lack of a better term, almost a support group for people who need to find work or find better work. People of like mind and like situations, they get together weekly and for a prolonged amount of time, and they are able to talk to one another, support one another, and not only that, but get access to our expert career advisors in our locations to help them find what they need to find a job. They can get networking with key area sectors and employers. They can have access to other career advising strategies like their resume building and job interviewing prep, and all of that stuff goes into that situation. But we've seen a great amount of success with using job clubs all across the area, because sometimes people have been in jobs for many, many years and they just simply don't know what they need to do to get back in the game if something were to happen. And sometimes people just need a leg up or a shoulder to cry on, and this can be all of the above for them. So that's something that we're really proud of. They will be there in force on Monday at the job fair. Check them out on Facebook, Job Clubs of Eastern Kentucky. We'll also have Kentucky Teleworks, and I want to say a little quick bit about that, because that is something.
Friend Joshua Ball.
Josh Ball is the manager for that. That's an XSEP program that focuses on working putting people to work immediately in jobs that you may be working for a company in California or Cincinnati, but you're sitting in your house among these hills and don't have to leave home. You know, we like to say that work isn't somewhere you go, but it's what you do. So you have high-speed internet access and a computer that meets the specs and the right sort of skills, and you can qualify for these jobs. These aren't scams. These aren't stuffing envelopes at home and making $5,000 a month like you see on email blasts all the time. These are legitimate job opportunities with legitimate companies, IT jobs, customer support and service sort of jobs. And we actually have 6 employers right now that want us to fill 3,000 positions by the end of this year, telework. So telework is where it's at. It is an opportunity for the miners and for the people who are going to come to this fair on Monday to check into that too. Not only them, but their spouses, their kids if they're old enough. You know, there's not a lot of restrictions with that. So it's something that people can get relief and employment help immediately with
single
that.
Mothers, I think,
single mothers
really go after that telework.
Absolutely, they can. I mean, it's not an alternative to daycare. We'd like to say that, but again, the restrictions. You know, you don't have to commute. You don't have to spend that money on gas and car maintenance and so on and so forth. And it's a good, real job. Again, no scam. This is totally legit. Josh is going out across Kentucky. He was in Paducah yesterday. Going to be in Danville, Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky. This is something we're doing statewide, but we're doing it for our region too. So the people who live here can take advantage of that. Check us out, KentuckyTeleworks.com. Check it out on Facebook with Kentucky Teleworks, because again, those folks will be there on Monday. So everyone come out. You know, bring your resume. You never know what might happen. That might be a good opportunity.
Mr. Cornett, welcome back to your home city of Pikeville.
Thank you.
You are an ambassador for Pike County. I know that. I've run into you outside of Pike County,
yes,
and you're always talking about how progressive you're Pike County, and that, as we all are when we leave the county to go anywhere, we are ambassadors, and we tell the story of
Judge, you and I sat in Frankfurt and watched this guy get every award that I got 4 and he got the rest.
It was a good day. It was a good day. But, you know, for me personally about those type of things, you know, it's just an honor to be able to work for organizations like Eastern Kentucky SEP, and before that the Center for Rural Development. I mean, these are nonprofit organizations that focus on changing people's lives.
Wow.
And that's I can't boil it down to any better essence than that.
We're back here with Pike County Community Services Director Carol Napier, who Mr. Cornett talked about EK-SEP's role, what they've done. Carol, you've been one of the, if not instrumental, but almost instrumental in compiling the list of vendors. It's actually too large for us to go through one by one. what to explain a little bit about your role and your contacting these folks and getting them out there. And
Okay. Well, I had the Department for Community-Based Services, and I'll work with a lot of these different agencies that will be participating in the benefits fair on Monday. So when I was told about this event, I was really excited because it's an opportunity for us to be able to bring those vendors, those service providers together, to let those individuals know that are laid off and are struggling. What I found, Brandon, in my line of work is a lot of people don't know what's out there that is available to them. So that's what's so wonderful about this event. It'll be bringing those different agencies that provide services that a lot of the individuals that are laid off don't know about. Also, it's an opportunity, as Mr. Cornett mentioned too, that there will be employers there as well that are seeking employees. So it's a great opportunity for those individuals to come out and take advantage of the opportunity.
well, my background is a journalist, so I'm a I do email and I do Facebook and I do all that. But isn't there something to be said about being able to talk to somebody face to face, ask a question, get an answer directly back?
Oh yeah, there's I've always felt that was the best way is to be able to come and sit down with an individual face to face, because they'll be able to answer the questions. That one-on-one contact, in my opinion, is always the best setting for that. I've had a number of people as well has contacted me, when they found out about the benefits fair. Some of the service providers that I hadn't thought about had contacted me and said, Carol, we want to be a part of this. So those individuals that are participating in the different agencies, as well as the employers that are coming out, are excited about this opportunity. They want to be there to help those individuals laid off. So the key thing is that I would ask those that are viewing this segment is that they encourage those people to come out. It is a one-stop shop. It's a great opportunity for them to come out and get information on the different programs that is out there that's available to them. And they may even end up walking away, Brandon, since we will have some employers there with a job. So that's exciting in and of itself. So it's a great opportunity.
Judge, you mentioned earlier about the future of coal. You and I were discussing the other day about the deal struck with India, the electricity providers in India, and you said that's not going to, that'll be a boost, but it's not going to take care of the problem.
No, the Jesse Seacon, a friend of mine, Indian from India, who now lives in Lexington. Worked with Jesse since 1970. He was in the old Office of Local Government, and he helped put this together of this Indian trip that took the governor, economic development, and all the agencies and state government that went to India, the coal industry, and they came back with a 25-year contract deal, $7 billion contract. Certainly, with Pike County being the largest producer in Central Appalachia, certainly a lot of those contracts are going to go to Pike County, and our miners will be mining that coal in the future. And a lot of we have more reserves than anybody else has. We probably have more reserves than most of all these other counties that we talk about in eastern Kentucky, in down subsurface in this county. So yes, we're going to get through this. The India contract is going to help us because we know that some things that's even happening today in regard to this contract, that you can see that the contracts are going to go, because nobody else provides 25 years of coal in contracts because they don't have the reserve to provide the coal. So yes, Pike County will provide most of that, and as time goes by, our miners will go back to work. But what we're attempting to do is to help them get through this period that they're having to go through now, and it is a tough time for people to lay off with children and with payments on the houses, payments on their vehicles, and the importance of insurance today and the cost of medical care to families. That's the reason. We're here because everybody cares and about what happens to these families. But in regard to the coal industry, how did we get to where we're at today? Well, we know that we have the worst recession in the history of the world. We know that. But you can remember when the stimulus came out, when the United States Congress passed and the President signed it, we immediately went and held meetings, Carl, at the Extension Office where people had adequate parking. And from the nonprofits to all government agencies in the county, Board of Education, and everybody, Board of Education, we submitted a notebook of road-ready projects, road-ready to be funded. And I realized by being a chief executive who makes decisions every day, I make decisions every day. The governor, the chief executive of Kentucky, Governor Beshear, makes decisions. Your legislatures, they have to make decisions. So when the bottom dropped out of our national economy and hit the states, it took the money coming into the state coffers, and the state was in trouble, and they was having to almost shut down state government. Almost shut down state government. So the hard decisions had to be made. Did I agree with what they did with stimulus money? No, I didn't. But I understand because the governor of this Commonwealth and the leadership in the House and the Senate and the legislators had to make their decision. They made their decisions instead of spending the $880-some million stimulus money on infrastructure in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, which Pike County, being the size of this county, would have got for infrastructure of water, sewer, roads and bridges, and most importantly, jobs. And I understand why they made that decision. Congress did not put in that act that you couldn't put that money in to take care of a shortfall. So they made that decision to keep from cutting people off. And really, the governor and the legislators got an argument. A job is a job. But we look forward to that stimulus money to help bring our economy in Pike County up, and that didn't happen. Now, that biennium, they took $400+ million, they put it in for the state shortfall. 2 years later, they meet again in regard to the budget. They take the rest of it, $400+ million. They put it in for the shortfall. Guess what happened? No more stimulus money. This last session, we had to stake an 8-point-some% cut in all state agencies, which even hit Carl, will hit her in regard to our senior citizens program on funding they get from the state. But as I said, I'm not here to criticize any legislators or the governor. Hard decisions, that's what people are in these offices for, and they have to make the tough decisions. And they made those decisions, and our stimulus money in Kentucky, we're not the only state. I understand there are 30 more states that used their money for the state shortfall and didn't spend the money for jobs on infrastructure. But that happened, and that's behind us. We will come back from the coal industry. The coal industry will come back. We have 2 projects on the drawing board, as you're aware. We have 2 coal to liquid projects. There are 3 projects. One's in Mingo County, West Virginia, 2 in Pike County. Those things are moving forward today. And hopefully, and we pray that we can get that 9 million tons of coal from those 3 plants in future years so that we can have our coal miners go to work and have our economy and our stable economy that has brought Kentucky. The coal mining industry is the best paying, lucrative jobs in this Commonwealth. People do not realize that, and they forget that. And the protest that you see, and I've said this time and time again, our coal miners are not the villains as portrayed. They're the heroes in this country. Who else would go in the bowels of these mountains in that dark and 55 degrees like my brother-in-law does under these mountains to mine the coal, to keep this country going, keep the lights on in this country, and to fight the wars and keep us free and make what we need to keep us free. So yes, we are sometimes passionate about what's going on in our country, but this coal industry will survive and we will be back. But until we do that, we have to depend on these agencies of our government, the nonprofits, and bring everybody together. Nobody can do anything by themselves. They have to be partnerships in government, communities partnerships, and nonprofit partnerships, and to make it happen. And that is the reason we're here with this program today, because people care about their area, care about our families and these blessed children, and we care about them. And Carl, I have said that I'm blessed to have you as a commissioner who has a heart and a feeling for these people, and you work tirelessly every day. And I appreciate what you're doing in regard to this Eastern Kentucky Benefits Fair and assisting Eastern Kentucky SEP and all these other agencies to try to get these people to understand. Please come on out and take advantage of this. Come out and listen. Get what you need. Ask the question. You'll be surprised of how people cares about you.
Carol, Judge mentioned about the local agencies here. One of, I don't want to single any one out. Of course, but a community action program.
Mm-hmm.
What? That's a big one, I think, for what we're doing here. And what could you elaborate a little bit on their role in the benefits fair and what they'll?
Yeah. The Biggest Sandy Community Action Program, actually I sit on the board, and it's a wonderful program. It offers an array of different services. They have like a weatherization program, that helps individuals weatherize their homes. They have programs that even help those individuals that may be evicted. One of the better known programs, Brandon, that they have is the LIHEAP program that they offer in the winter months to help those individuals with their electric bills. Even through our office, what we see a lot of, and I have come in contact with individuals whose husband, one in particular I recall a couple of weeks ago came in, her husband was laid off from the mines and she had an electric bill, a disconnect notice. And, we worked with that individual, we partnered with her with the other agencies and came up with the monies that she needed to meet that. And that's one thing that's wonderful, being in the position that I'm in with community services. We formed a coalition, the Pike County Human Resource Interagency Coalition, when we first came in office in January of '07. And we have monthly meetings where we bring these different agencies together, to not only keep updated on different services or new programs that come in to our county that's available to individuals in need, but we also work together on problem cases. Say, for example, if there's been many occasions where a person came in that was in need, their home needed to be repaired, that what one agency couldn't do, the other could, but as a result, working in collaboration, we were able to meet that need, just as we did with the lady that needed the money for her electric bill. It's just, as the judge mentioned, we encourage people to come out and take advantage of this benefits fair. As Mike mentioned earlier, we have over 40 vendors that's going to be here that's come together wanting to help those individuals that are laid off. So I encourage people to come out, and take advantage of it, because as the judge mentioned earlier, the wolf has been at everybody's door. We never know. I've always said that a person's one heartbeat away from, losing a job. And when a person's laid off and they've got their house payment to make, utility bills to meet, a lot of them don't know where to turn, and see, that's through our office. We're blessed in this area. I know in the Big Sandy area, Pike County is the only county government that has a community-based service office where that people can call that are in need. It's a point of entry for those constituents, those people out here in our county, to call when they're in need. And what we try to do is, contact other agencies to help them or put them in contact with agencies, nonprofits that will be able to meet whatever need that may be. So I think it's a great opportunity for people to come out. That's going to be on Monday, September the 10th at the Expo from 10 to 5. And again, I would encourage those that are viewing this program to encourage others that you may know, family, friends, someone that's laid off. I think we've all been impacted by that. we all have loved ones that have been laid off and just don't know where to turn, Brandon. And it's in those times that's when they look to their government, and that's what government's all about. It's to be there to help people. And I feel blessed. You know, I feel God has blessed me to be in the position I am in, to be able to help those people in need. And I know the judge feels real adamant about that, and members of her court do as well.
Well, you mentioned something about the lady with the disconnect notice, and Judge mentioned earlier that everyone has been unemployed. You know, and I know he's speaking in a generality there, but you know, some of these people, this may be the first time they've ever gotten a disconnect notice for their power, or never had the money for a house payment. This benefits fair is great for people. I mean, unemployed before or not.
That's true. In fact, the lady that had came in, this was the first time she'd ever got a disconnect notice. You know, I'm sure there's many others out there that this is the first time. They just, like I said, people don't know where to turn. You know, and I've often said, you know, what good is information if you don't share the information? And that's the wonderful part about our coalition, is that we come together on a monthly basis to garner that information so that we'd be able to, you know, tell others, you know, what's out there, what's available to them. We even, when we first came in office, we put together a resource directory of all the different agencies that I try to get into the hands of the churches. And, you know, any organization that comes in contact with individuals in needs, because we want to be able to get that information into those individuals' hands, so when they do come in contact with a person that's in need, they'll be able to tell them where to go. And, you know, as I said, it's a great opportunity. You know, a lot of work has went into this by a lot of people who really care about the people out here, and we want to help those individuals. Now the key to this event is get the people out to take advantage of it. As the judge mentioned, it's a one-stop shop. It's a perfect opportunity where all these different agencies, the different, you know, the employers have all come up together under one roof to be able to meet with those individuals that's laid off, that's unemployed, or looking for work. Yeah.
Judge, around a month ago, you wrote the letter to Jeff Whitehead.
Correct.
And now we're a few days away from having what we hope to be the largest one of these that's been had. And as Mr. Cornett said earlier, it's already had more vendors sign up than any of the other ones. That was all just, I mean, I don't want to say spur of the moment, but I mean, it was basically just, you know, you write the letter, he calls you, and then here we are.
Here we are getting ready for the event. And it's not only for the coal miners, it's anybody laid off. Let's let people understand that. They need to come out and take advantage of this benefit fair.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
I might mention, as the judge stated, not only for coal miners, but we had ACS too, that, you know, over 100 people that were laid off from that are no doubt out here too looking, you know, for work, and also probably in need as well. So as the judge mentioned, it's for any individuals that's laid off, you know, out of work, you know, to come out and take advantage of this.
Well, the Kentucky Teleworks that Mr. Cornett was talking about, that would be fantastic for a laid-off ACS worker who's already basically done the thing.
Brandon, if they're in Letcher County, or if they're in Floyd County or Martin County, they can come on to this benefit fair. This serves the whole region. We're in this together. We don't look at the borders of Kentucky or the counties. We're all in Central Appalachia. We're all one big family. We have the same hardships, but thank God that He blessed us by being able to live here in these beautiful mountains of Central Appalachia. And in a Bible Belt. Just think about that. We're in the Bible Belt of the United States of America. And we're in the most patriotic area of any part of this country. And so it is great to live here. But we have our hardships. We overcome them. We overcome them because we look out for each other. And that's what this is all about. This is a benefit for everybody looking out for each other. Get us through this. We're going to come back. Coal industry is going to be around for many, many years, regardless of what you hear or read. It's going to be here. It has to be. There's no other way to provide the BTUs to keep the lights on this country. Coal has to be part of the equation.
Well, on behalf of Judge Rutherford and Carol Napier and Michael Cornett, I'd like to thank you for watching the program today and remind you that Monday, September 10th, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the East Kentucky Expo Center is the EKSEP Benefits Fair.